Welcome to this explainer on building the innovation engine. We're going to uncover why only a tiny fraction of organizations consistently turn innovation into long-term business growth. Honestly, I'm absolutely thrilled to guide you through this today because, let's face it, every single company wants innovation. It's like the holy grail of business, right? But very few actually know how to build a real machine that produces it on demand. So today, we're going to break down exactly how the best in the business pull it off.
So think about this. Why do so few organizations consistently turn innovation into business growth? I mean, every leader talks about innovation. You've probably heard the buzzword thrown around a million times at your own company, usually accompanied by, a bunch of sticky notes and maybe some free pizza. But we need to address a glaring reality here. Why is it so rare to see it successfully and repeatedly executed? What's the missing link between just wanting to be innovative and actually being an innovative market leader?
Let's get right into section 1. Why innovation is not optional.
The fundamental reason we're talking about this right now is that change is accelerating across the board. Markets are shifting incredibly fast. Customer expectations are completely different than they were even just 12 months ago. And technology, well, it's advancing nonstop. Because these elements are evolving at breakneck speed, innovation is absolutely no longer a luxury. It's not just a fun side project, it is a strategic necessity for survival. Organizations that fail to innovate, they simply won't remain competitive. It really is that simple.
Moving on to section 2, ideas don't create value.
We naturally tend to conflate having a good idea with being an innovative company, but honestly, it's a massive myth. Look at the stark contrast here. Ideas just represent creativity. They are merely the starting points. Innovation, on the other hand, requires execution, implementation, and a deep systemic commitment across the whole organization. Don't get me wrong, having creative ideas is fantastic, but true innovation, that requires the heavy lifting of execution, systems, and resources that actually create an impact. So simply put, ideas alone do not create value.
Which brings us to section 3, the innovation engine defined.
An innovation engine is precisely this, a repeatable organizational capability that consistently generates, evaluates, develops, and scales new ideas. I really want to emphasize that word, repeatable. We have to start treating innovation as a mechanical, repeatable business system, rather than just crossing our fingers and hoping to catch lightning in a bottle. It is a machine you have to intentionally construct. So, what actually goes into this machine? Well, there are 6 interconnected components you absolutely need to align: leadership, culture, processes, technology, talent, and strategic focus. You need all of these working together. When these 6 elements combine seamlessly, they produce sustainable, repeatable results. Innovation suddenly shifts from being a happy accident to a highly reliable output of your daily business systems.
Section 4, the leadership requirement. Every engine needs a spark, right?
Here, leadership behavior actively creates the environment necessary for success. Leaders must actively encourage experimentation, put their money where their mouth is to allocate real resources, and tolerate calculated risk. But most importantly, they absolutely have to create psychological safety. Without that safety net, your team is going to be way too afraid to fail. And if they're afraid to fail, they will never explore the bold, out-of-the-box ideas your company desperately needs to grow.
Section 5, designing an innovation culture.
Organizations that successfully build this engine intentionally foster 6 very specific traits. We're talking about curiosity, continuous learning, collaboration, experimentation, customer focus, and adaptability. When you actively reward continuous learning, yes, even when an experiment inevitably fails, you turn your working environment into a massive competitive advantage. You're literally programming your culture to hunt for the next big breakthrough instead of hiding from failure. Consider this fundamental rule. Culture often determines innovation outcomes. It's a powerful realization, isn't it? It highlights that all the advanced technology and brilliant processes in the world won't save you if your culture is rigid. The environment you design is ultimately the thing that will decide whether your innovation engine runs smoothly or just stalls out completely. Okay, section 6, start asking better questions. So how do you actually put this all into practice right now? Well, innovation begins with curiosity. Leaders can take immediate action today by just asking their teams these 4 precise questions. What opportunities are we missing? What assumptions should we actively challenge? What problems are our customers experiencing right now? And what experiments should we run to solve them? Taking these questions back to your team tomorrow can instantly shift the dynamic. They act like a spotlight, revealing the exact blind spots where your next massive innovation is hiding. To quickly summarize, let's look at the complete picture. Building the engine requires leadership, strategy, culture, experimentation, learning, and execution. Always remember that innovation isn't about those occasional lucky breakthroughs. It's a highly intentional, systemic combination of these core elements, designed from the ground up to repeatedly execute and create immense value for your organization. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one direct challenge. What assumptions will your team challenge tomorrow? As you look to build your own capabilities, ask yourself that final question. Because the very moment you start challenging the status quo and questioning your own assumptions, well, that is the exact moment you start turning everyday efficiency into your most powerful competitive advantage. The organizations that will win tomorrow are the ones building these innovation capabilities today. Thanks so much for exploring this topic with me, and I can't wait to dive into our next explainer together.